What's going on, my Flabby family? It's your boy Izzy. Welcome if you're new. So LeBron James, man, he decided to unplug from social media, but some of the media people are taking it to the heart, man. We're about to get all the way into it. But before we do that, y'all make sure y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy if you like the content. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit that big 160 by the end of the day. So if you can help me out with that, I highly appreciate it. And don't forget to get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about this. Let's get it.
Things off here with the NBA. Social media has infiltrated all levels of society, especially sports and sports media, right? However, for LeBron James, the noise has gotten too loud and he's decided to unplug. I get it. LeBron made 2 posts yesterday on X. Let me read those to you. The first, simply saying amen to previous posts by Kevin Durant's longtime manager, Rich Kleinman, which read, quote, "With so much hate and negativity in the world today, it confuses me why some of the national sports media still thinks that the best way to cover sports is through negative takes. We can all acknowledge that sports is the last part of society that universally brings people together. So why can't the coverage do the same? It's only clickbait when you say it. When the platform is so big, you can make the change and allow us all an escape from real life negativity. I, for one, find it all a waste of breath. The Olympics and the JJ and Braun show was the future of what this can and should all be." LeBron then followed up that post simply reading, "And with that said, I'll holler at y'all getting off social media for the time being. Y'all can take care." LeBron's announcement came one day after he said everybody on the internet called me a liar all the time when he said he was watching Dalton Connect's college games last year at Tennessee. All right, so a lot to unpack, Stephen A., and there's a lot of layers to this conversation. Do you believe, and hi, Wendy, do you believe that LeBron is right about social media?
I believe he's right. There's a lot of weak-ass people on social media. There's a lot of people that hide behind social media to spew and to spread and disseminate their venom. Point taken with both Rich Kleinman and himself. They are not wrong. They're just not complete. I would remind, and Wendy, I will say this to you. Last time I checked, there's former players that's in the media. There's former players that have their own podcasts. There's former players that are on shows like this and various other shows. And so when people talk about the national media, that annoys me. And I think that Rich Kleinman was incomplete with what he said. The fact of the matter is that you listen to him, you listen to what he said, you listen to LeBron and what he intimated, and there's this impression that it's the media, the media, the media. There's several layers to all of this that's not being told. Number one, what's your definition of negativity? If you shoot 2 for 20 and somebody said you played like hot garbage last night, is that negative? Was that factual? Because to me, it's only negative if you continue with that narrative as opposed to neglecting to point out the positive when they perform in a very positive fashion. If I'm celebrating you when you play well, but I'm pointing out when you play bad, that's just me covering the game. And by the way, there was a time long before social media arrived where you saw people, national and locally, getting into people's personal business. That's not what you see a lot of now. Actually, people, despite what social media, the impression it may give you, I can speak on behalf of myself and and many people in the national media. There's a strong reluctance to touch on people's personal affairs. That's your business. Talking about the game and talking about what impacts the game and your performance is not getting into your personal life. But you have folks that will want you to avoid even talking about the game in a negative fashion because they're of this mindset that it would protect their brand, which gets us to another point.
Yeah.
You really have an agenda. Because what you want to do is make sure that, listen, excuse the analogy, Molly, but you've got a lot of people out there, Wendy, that literally will pass gas and want you to say it's perfume. Literally, in today's sports world. And that's where it becomes a bit egregious. So when you take that into consideration and you just label the national media in that regard without being specific about who you're talking about, that's a negative stigma that I think should be challenged. The other thing that I would say is what I piggybacked off of earlier. Folks in the media today also consist of former players. They're your brethren. They know the game. They've been inside their locker rooms. But you'll see players complaining about the media one minute, complaining about a former player another. If you're a present player that has a podcast or something, they'll complain about that too, which was why I said when I was talking about Kevin Durant a couple of weeks ago, who's allowed to talk about you? Who's allowed to talk about you? Because he's gotten at me, he's gotten at Kendrick Perkins, he's gotten at other people, he's gotten at fans, he's gotten at media members, he's gotten at folks on social media. Who's allowed to talk? But in the same breath, you want us to talk because it elevates the profile of the sport and the brand that you represent, and you get the profit off of that. So which one is it? All of these things come into consideration. I'll let Wendy go before I say more, but I just wanted to make the point that they're not wrong with what they're saying, but they're wrong with not being expansive and specific about it because you're stigmatizing an industry when it's an industry that includes former players and in some cases present players.
Hey, man, I can't lie. Stephen A was cooking, dog. Like, if I give constructive criticism towards Angel Reese's game, people would excoriate me, bro. Like, now, I do think this whole LeBron taking a break from social media thing, I think it's not the people saying he lying about Connect. He was lying about Connect. Now, we know, though, LeBron, you be lying sometimes. You be lying sometimes, big dog. But, hey, you my GOAT, bro. I rock with you. I think people are kind of getting to him from all the criticism that Bronny is catching. And that same vitriol is going towards LeBron, too, right? So I think that's what's making him, you know, not want to be on social media like that. Now, anybody calling LeBron soft for getting off social media due to what people are saying and things of that nature, you got to remember, Michael Jordan, bruh, retired because he was exhausted and tired of the media and all this other stuff. But I agree with Stephen A, man. If we're talking about your game and giving you props when you have a good game, but talking about things you could correct when you have a bad game, I mean, come on, man.
Say define the media to that point. Who exactly are we talking about? Because when you talk about social media, absolutely, it's a double-edged sword. But it's not just media, it's also fans as well, where you're receiving a lot of that vitriol.
The other thing, really quick, before you go, Wendy, Rich Kleiman, who I like and respect. I've known him for years. Did you say that tweet when Kevin Durant said what he said? That's your guy. Y'all are business partners. The boardroom, 35 Ventures. I mean, and listen, and I'm not casting aspersions on Kevin Durant, no matter what Kevin Durant said about me. Got love and respect. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He is a treasure to the game of basketball and to the world of sports. I'm simply saying, to attack the point, did you say that when your guy has been negative? Because Kevin Durant has been negative from time to time. No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that tweet then.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing where I feel like Rich was totally right, though, is sports is the unique situation where it does galvanize people and bring the world together. So he's absolutely right about that point.
Hey, but that's another good point, man. Kevin Durant did go at Stephen A. Smith a few times, man. If you're going to say something like that, you got to keep it on both sides to show that you really stand on that. If you really feel like sports is a spot where everybody, no matter the nationality, the colors, don't matter, could come together and enjoy one another's company, you will correct both sides. The players that's saying things about the analysts or saying things to the analysts, and the analysts saying things to the players who might be out of pocket.
LeBron James and Uninterrupted, there's nothing to talk about. We see what's going on and the exceptional work that they're doing. But there are people they could talk to. There are stories that could be told. There's a level of genuine truthfulness and honesty and objectivity that could be brought to the equation, but that's not what you want to do, because you might not like a particular person when their objective is the story, not you, and to tell those stories. So when you say there's more storytelling that could be told, who are people that are in ideal positions to tell those stories? Those very individuals that don't want to tell it unless they want to tell it to who they want to tell it to, as opposed to having folks standing in front of their face objectively dissecting what they're saying about the story. That's far more important than anything they might be a bit salty about, and they pass on those opportunities. So when you talk about First Take, for example, you brought up First Take. Let's talk about First Take for a second. There's former athletes and present athletes that come on this show all the time. They're always welcome. Always welcome. We don't shy away from that. You got something you want to debate? Fine. You got something you want to promote? Fine. You got something you want to big up? Fine. We have no problem with that. But because somebody talked about you playing like trash in the playoffs when you did something you would openly admit you did later on, suddenly you don't want anything to do with them. You're persona non grata. I'm saying to you, there's a grown-up element to all of this that people don't gravitate to. And then they got cats in the podcast stratosphere, all right, that literally confirm and condone that kind of mentality until they're forced to speak truth to power about what's transpiring. And then the players themselves turn against them. And so when we look at this negativity and just say to national media, nah, that ain't good enough. Because there's people, your brethren, former players, present players, with a microphone, with a camera, that got absolute carte blanche to speak truth to power, and they know what they're talking about. And then you challenge them because, not even because it's false, but because you said, nah, that's not something you say. That's not something you publicize. And they go after their own. So when we talk about national media, who's Rich Kleiman talking about? Who's LeBron James co-signing on with that? What are you talking about exactly? Give examples. We're all ears. We're all ears. But they won't do that. You know why? Because then you get challenged. And you're getting challenged on the level of consistency that you may be lacking with your argument. This is First Take, baby. I'm here all the time. Anytime, any place. They want the platform, let's go. Let's have that discussion.
Do you feel like that?
They won't do it.
Stephen
They
A.,
won't do it.
Do you feel like
we know that.
by their comments,
I'm sorry?
but with like Rich or LeBron, by their comments, do you feel like when they're referring to national media, they're specifically referring to First Take?
It's not just First Take. I mean, it's the national media. They are right about that. And I'm certainly not taking it personal because First Take is First Take. But when you're number one, that's the kind of stuff that happens and it goes with it. Yeah. All I'm saying is that I'm coming to the defense of the industry itself because I'm saying if you have stories to tell and you want to tell it, people will listen and let you tell it. On far more occasions than not, sensitivity has been heightened to such a degree because there's so much money at stake that any little thing they'll overreact to and they'll pick and choose who they want to and who they don't want to tell a story to, and then accuse you for not telling the story.
Yeah, I can't lie. It seems like Stephen A. is taking it personal. At the end of the day, man, I wish the best for LeBron. Mental health is everything, everybody, so make sure y'all take care of that, okay? Although I don't believe you all will win anything, but I do like how y'all look with Connect, man. Westside Connect. So, hey, keep it going, man. I'm a huge fan. And I wish you the best, brother. Y'all let me know what y'all think about LeBron James taking a break from social media. A lot of people call it soft. A lot of people say, hey, man, my peace matter over everything. What do y'all think, man? Put it in the comment section. I love y'all. Y'all keep it smooth.